All right, what's up, people? This is for the youngsters out there. Well, you know what? It's for anybody. Anyone who has anything to do with college, going to it, paying for it, regretting going, regretting paying for it. Just had a thought. Let me share this with you. The vast majority of students, I think it's somewhere around 95%, go to college on student loans. Student loan debt now is over $1 trillion. There's more student loan debt than credit card debt. I thought it was kind of funny today. Hillary Clinton was at a university complaining about, student loan debt. Yet she sat there, gave a speech for 20 minutes and made $225,000. Well, you wonder why colleges are going broke. But anyway, here's my thought. Since 95% of kids go to college on taxpayer student loans, that gives the government a lot of buying power, a lot of leverage. The same leverage that the government has with like Medicare and Medicaid, where they go into hospitals and doctors and pharmaceuticals and they negotiate, a lower price, saying, look, we've got 5 million people, here's what we're offering. So, and these are doctors, these are people that can cut your chest open, fix your heart, put it back in, uh, crack your skull open, root around in your brain a little bit, fix you. That's what these people do. Why don't they go to academia where these people do nothing but stand up in front of students, tell them to read a book, and then they're going to give them a test? Why doesn't the government go to these universities and colleges and say, you know what, 90% or 95% of your students are going to your university on taxpayer dollars. We want to lower the cost of tuition by 25%. Wow, think about that. Reducing your student loans by a quarter? Yeah, pretty good idea. Why, if it works for doctors, why wouldn't it work for a pharmaceutical, or why wouldn't it work for a university? The other thing, these electives that colleges mandate, why do you have to take those? I mean, if you're going to be a marine biologist, why should you be able to take a course in female studies or whatever it is, or ethnic studies? Who cares? Imagine if you could get rid of 20% of the electives that you're having to pay for. Wow. So you get a 25% reduction, you get rid of 20% of these electives you don't need to take. Wow, all of a sudden that's almost a 50% reduction in the cost of getting a degree. Wow. This is something, I mean, just think about that. I know, hey, the professors will lose their mind. They will invent reasons why you can't do it. Well, the quality of education will fall. Really? Because you're making $200,000 a year and you won't get another 10% raise, and somehow you're not going to be able to teach like you did before you got the raise? I mean, really? I mean, you can't build another building? And think about this, endowments. Harvard, I think their endowment they've got, which is basically a savings, a slush fund, I think it was somewhere like $50 billion or more. I mean, it's obscene. Most decent universities are in the high hundreds of millions, to low billions. All your Ivy League schools, I believe, are in the billions. A place like University of Texas, they're in the billions. I think low billions. I think Kansas University, I think they're in the low billions. 1 or 2 billion. I mean, these schools are sitting on money like you wouldn't believe, yet they keep raising your tuition. So you students, you parents, start calling your congressman and start saying, you know what? If you guys can negotiate a lower rate for Medicaid because you've got millions of people that you're insuring, well, you have millions of people that are taking out student loans. And we don't want to graduate with that kind of debt. Why don't you negotiate, use that buying power and negotiate lower tuition rates? Why don't you mandate that these electives are nonsense and we shouldn't be forced to pay for it? Matter of fact, mandate that student loans won't cover electives. So, it's just, I know, like I said, you're going to have teachers say, they're going to give you every reason why they think that it's a bad idea. Why? Because they don't ever want to go without or less. or be fiscally responsible. They'll come up with every reason why you need to keep paying more, more, more. And kids, students, parents, stop sending your kids, and kids, stop going to college for junk degrees. You know, it doesn't matter if you're going to get a 4-year degree in ethnic studies or a 4-year degree in, mechanical engineering. It's going to cost you roughly the same. One's going to make you a good bit of money in the real world. The other one, you're never going to pay that loan back, and you're going to rue the day you went to college. So be responsible when selecting a college course. Back in the 80s, you used to go to a bank and sit down to take out a student loan, and they would actually look at the risk of you paying that back. They looked at what the job would pay and how many people, what the demand is for the job. And if it wasn't a high demand and it was low pay, likelihood is you weren't going to get a loan, or they weren't going to give you a loan for what you wanted, or the interest rate was going to be higher, or a combination of any of those. But now it's just like you can go to college on limited money, essentially, and do whatever you want. And, it's so easy to say yes. Oh, yeah, it's free money. It's not free money. We're paying for it, and you're going to end up paying for it. So something to consider. Pass it along. If you think it's a good idea, the government negotiate, call your congressman. Call your senators and say, you know what? This makes a lot of sense. And let's see if we can't help our students out. Let's see if you can't help your parents out. Make things a little bit more affordable when you go to college. And, because I want you guys to get out of college. Imagine if you could get out with less debt and a year early. Graduate in 3 instead of 4. Now you're out earning money. You have less debt. You got an extra year. What are you going to make? 30, 40, 50,000 first year you're out of college? Wow. Think about that. And, we just have to get enough support together to do it. But anyway, I appreciate it. Just want to share that thought. If you agree, call your congressman. Shoot me a message and tell me what your thoughts are. And I appreciate you watching.